What's up guys, Karl Thomas here with another video. Today it's Q&A day. You've been sending in your questions via my Instagram story. Just like last time, I've got a fair few of them, so thank you so much to everybody that got involved. Just to say that outside of these Q&A sessions, I'm actually really happy to answer your questions that you have. Do follow me on Instagram. It's the easiest way to get in touch with me. If not, leave a comment below if you don't have Instagram. But yeah, I'm always happy to answer DJ questions and help people out along their DJ journey. And to be fair, this is probably one of my favorite videos to film. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Do you ever have to DJ sick? How does it go? Really interesting question, actually. I mean, I always think it's really hard to call in sick as a DJ because unlike the bar or security or wherever else you're working in the club, usually if you're DJing all night, there's only one of you, and obviously you kind of need to be there. And it's one of those jobs where you have to be on your A game all the time. Like, you have to bring 100%. You have to look energetic. You can't almost have an off day. So in that respect, there is quite a substantial amount of pressure on you. I have been unwell a couple of times. Luckily, I'm fairly healthy and my immune system is good. So I'm never really one of these people that takes loads of time off sick anyway. But yeah, I've DJ'd with sort of a cold or a flu a couple of times, and it's not fun, but you just kind of have to plow through. Touch wood, I haven't had anything more serious than that. I probably don't talk as much on the mic when I'm blocked up, but there we go. What was your favorite venue to DJ in? That is a really hard one. I can't name one venue that stands out, so I think I'm gonna go with three. A venue that's really close to me in here is my Friday night residency. I've been there for ever, but basically it's on a university campus, Surrey University in Guildford. This is when the clubs were open. There's a 1600 capacity nightclub on campus. It's one room, and it was my first big nightclub that I've ever worked in. And through that venue, I've played with some of the biggest artists in the music industry, in the UK music industry anyway. We've had Chase and Status there, Jonas Blue, Sigala, Professor Green, just to name a few. And I've worked with all of these people. Through that venue, it's just opened so many doors for me into other venues across the UK. Other venues that are notable: Syndicate in Bristol. I think it's still called SWX. It definitely had a rebrand anyway. But yeah, I used to be the Saturday night resident there a few years ago. It took me ages to get there. It was a 100-mile drive there, 100-mile drive back, but absolutely loved the vibe in there. It was when EDM was big. I basically played massive high energy EDM tracks all night. And yeah, it was a vibe, massive venue. So yeah, really good. And then the only other one that really stands out is I was really fortunate enough about 2-3 years ago to play a club called Ultramondo Studios in Italy, just outside of Rimini. The club is in. Huge venue, people like Steve Aoki, Hardwell have all played in Ultramondo Studios. Yeah, massive vibe. I was really fortunate to get that one. So those are my top three. Next question. I love your videos, thank you. Fancy starting my own channel. How easy is it to edit videos? First and foremost, if you want to start a YouTube channel, honestly, do it. I did it as a way to try and learn a new skill during lockdown and to add a bit of value to people that are starting out or are other DJs. To be fair, even though my channel is tiny at the minute, I mean, I've got under 300 subscribers, the opportunities that I've had from it have been mad, even so far. So I have recorded a podcast with the Crazy Cousins, which was wicked. I'll include a link to it below. I've featured in a magazine because of it, featuring loads of different industry professionals. This is all through people that have found me on YouTube. So yeah, I would say number one, do it. In terms of how easy is it to edit videos, I edit on a Mac, so I've got Final Cut Pro now, but I started on iMovie. It's really simple, to be fair. You just kind of record, and then I cut the bits out that I'm erring and umming and basically where I mess up the words. But yeah, do it. I found it fairly simple to edit videos. I wouldn't say I'm a videographer. I'm still learning with every video that I do. But yeah, do it. Would you be able to possibly shout me out, and what tune are you playing when the clubs are open? So this comes from DJ Dougie. Shout out to you. He's based in Scotland, as far as I'm aware. He's also got a sick SoundCloud. He's put some great mixes on there. I'll include a link in the description below. Check his SoundCloud out. In terms of like what tune am I going to play when the clubs open, to be fair, I have absolutely no idea. I go into a club with the mindset of I know kind of the genres that I'm going to play, but I never go with a pre-planned set list. So that's always been my approach. I kind of read the crowd and go that way. Next question then, how do I choose what to talk about? I mean, my channel is kind of broken down into vlogs, into tutorials, into product unboxings, reviews, and obviously these question and answer sessions. In terms of how I choose what to talk about, I base my videos on the questions I get asked from people the most. Like, I might meet other DJs who are like, oh, what record pool are you using? Or how do you get the phrasing right on your mixes? And I try and make video content. I guess that's how my channel started. It was a way to put content out there that was longer than like a text message if I was texting someone back, in order to answer questions with a greater level of detail. And that's how I'm still really coming up with my content. Obviously, like, I throw in vlogs and stuff to give you a bit of an insight into my life as a DJ. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm just trying to answer the questions that I get asked the most, and that's working so far. Okay, so next question. Why did I want to be a DJ? I guess I didn't really go into it with the mindset of I want to be a DJ. When I was really little, I was like a record collector, I would say. All of my mates were on like little football teams and stuff like that, and they were doing that the weekend. I was really collecting music. I'd spend all of my pocket money on music. And then I was always the geeky little kid that was fascinated by the disco lights and the loud music at like your uncle's 40th. You know, those types with the crappy little cold buffet from Iceland and stuff. Yeah, and I used to love watching the DJ and what made people dance. My first gig was a kids party, and it was only because my neighbour asked my mum to DJ it because I had a big record collection. I've always loved the concept of entertaining a crowd and trying to give people a memorable night, and that's what I do it for. I don't do it for kind of like Instagram followers or anything like that. I do it for the love of entertaining a crowd and sharing music with others. What music are you listening to now you're not gigging? By the way, this question comes in from Charlie Hurren. It was his podcast that I featured on the other week. Crazy Cousins, link in the description below. To be fair, what I listen to is actually really quite broad. I've always had a really broad taste in music. When I'm not DJing, I still listen to a lot of house music. I love house through and through. That is like my go-to genre. Plus, I quite like listening to like easy listening stuff, like David Gray, The Verve, stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say it's really quite broad. When I'm not listening to house, that's what I'm listening to. A mixture of like a hodgepodge of everything, really. Okay, next question. Tips for beginner DJs to get into clubs when they reopen. Yeah, fair question. Network. It's all about networking. If you want to DJ in venues, I've always said this, the more doors you knock on, the more likely one is to open. It's still a motto that I live by today. I would say in your approach, don't go in with the hard sell. Don't go in going, right, I'm a DJ, can I get a gig? Just find out information. I would say the best approach for me, what's always worked for me, is look, just seek that information. So go into a venue, email a venue, telephone a venue, and just ask them the questions like, how do you go about finding your DJs? When a vacancy comes up, you know, where would you look to for your next DJ? Those kind of questions, because some venues might use an agency. If so, find out what that agency is, then you can get in touch with the agency. Some venues, unfortunately, won't answer you. Some venues might come back to you and say, well, look, we have this and this DJ, but, you know, maybe email back in 6 months and we might have a vacancy. Don't go in with a hard sell. Don't piss people off by like undercutting the current DJ. But yeah, make those inquiries, ask the questions, and as I say, more doors you knock on, more likely one is to open. At the moment, I do know of quite a lot of DJs that are potentially giving up because of this whole situation at the moment. So whilst there might be less gigs available when we open up, there still might be work out there to get. So good luck with it. Let me know how you get on. How long does it take you to produce one of your videos? It's a good one. It varies massively. If I'm doing like a talk to the camera, probably about half an hour to an hour of talking, and then the editing is probably the longer process. If I've got like B-roll and like different sort of cuts and music and stuff, it takes me longer, but I'd say anywhere between sort of an hour and a half to 2 hours to make a basic edit for a video. You've also got to consider the prep work into filming a video. I'll never write a script. I try and talk naturally, but I do make bullet points on what I want to cover, so I don't end up waffling. And if you know me personally, you know I can talk for bloody England. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a day, just because otherwise this video will end up being like hours long, and no one really wants to see my face for like hours. What camera do you use? I use a Canon M50. I just use the kit lens out the box, and I have like a little Joby Wavo microphone attached to it. It seems to work really well. Let me know your thoughts. It's quite a beginner's camera, to be fair, but it's fairly affordable and it seems to do what I want. So yeah. And then final question comes in from DJ Pip. Who is your favourite artist? Very, very difficult question to answer this, because my musical taste is so broad and I like so many different types of music. I am a massive fan of Elvis Presley, simply because, number one, very talented singer, but also as well, I think in terms of the music industry, back in like the 1950s, when America was like a completely segregated nation, he broke down a lot of racial barriers through just music, which is, you know, amazing. Coming into the modern day, I think a lot of the artists that I like are obviously electronic artists as a DJ. So people like Bob Sinclair, Martin Solveig, Roger Sanchez, Fatboy Slim, as well as some like really kind of technical guys like DJ EZ. I have a lot of respect for. He's an absolute wizard on the CDJs and vinyl decks. And Craig David, I've got a lot of admiration for him, because obviously he can sing, he can DJ, he can MC. Like he's a really talented guy. So I would say across the board, like those are probably my favorite artists. I can't narrow it down to just one. Like it's just too difficult. Okay guys, I'm gonna call it a day there. I don't want this video to go on forever. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you do have any questions for me, leave them in the comments below. I'm very active on the comments. Follow me on Instagram, DM me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Do subscribe if you like this type of thing, and I will see you in the next video.